I want to talk about victim shaming, but particularly in the realm of politics, because I'm seeing it happen quite often where the whole, but this is what you voted for is thrown in everybody's faces without any context, without any knowledge of what that person even voted for in the first place. And it's getting very exhausting. It's like, what does that have to do with anything, honestly? We are all, as Americans, victimized by our current system. And just like, trigger warning, domestic violence, you wouldn't tell a woman in an emergency room having just sustained injuries due to a domestic violence situation that she deserves to be there because she wanted to have faith in a partner that she loved and cared about. You wouldn't, it doesn't make sense to tell someone who genuinely wanted to see change from a previous administration, who may have voted for the opposite party, that they deserve whatever they get. Like, that's, I believe that Americans, those that are like me, those that may even be like you, are genuinely good people. We have long had a system with a system of checks and balances that has typically been effective in preventing any president, red or blue, from doing crazy shit. There are many Americans that have long voted their usual party, be it blue or red, just by virtue of the fact that they know they align primarily with ideals and policies of said blue or red system. And that has typically been an okay way of choosing a candidate, especially during a time where we don't have the time to sit down and comb through these candidates' histories. Like, what were they doing before when they were in other political seats of power? What have they said on multiple and various podcasts throughout the years? How have they voted in previous election cycles if they served in Congress or in the House? We don't necessarily have that time. Additionally, our education system isn't really set up to truly teach us how to comb through that information, how to look at that kind of data. We're not really truly taught politics in our schools. There's such an emphasis on math and language arts. History and government usually winds up getting taught by a coach in a lot of schools. My high school was one of those. Not to say I didn't get a good education, but probably I would have been a little bit better if it had been someone that was a little more educated and trained in those things. Those subjects always take a back seat, not always, but very often take a back seat to those other topics that can be tested on in particular national, standardized testing. Americans that you typically meet on the street have traditionally, although I'll say in the last 5 years since COVID, we've all lost our minds and our ability to be kind and logical and understanding, but we're good people. I don't truly believe that every single person that voted for Trump, that are, MAGA cult, would have seen things like alligator Alcatraz ever being a possibility. We as Americans do not want to believe that that's something that would actually happen. We would like to think that we learned from the Japanese internment camps from the 40s that that's not a good fucking idea. We genuinely want to believe that we learn from our history and don't tend to repeat it. But as it turns out, we cycle through it, some form of it, over and over and over again. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Not one that we wanted to accept, but one that we are facing. Many people that voted red were people that traditionally voted blue because they had just spent a year and some change watching a genocide play out on their phones under the administration of the blue candidate. And that's an okay reason to vote the other side. Many of us were traumatized by what we'd seen, and we would have done anything to get away from it, including voting red or independent, when maybe traditionally we voted blue. The truth is, the fact is, first of all, we used to live in a country where we didn't talk about who we voted for. It was no one's fucking business. But we are not our political parties. We are not our votes. Just because you vote Republican doesn't mean you are a Republican. Not always. You are an American who is hoping that there will be some sort of change for the better, and you cast your vote towards that direction. Or blue, you're a Republican, or someone that typically votes Republican, anyways, you always got to talk both sides every single time you do a video nowadays. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. We have to stop with the this is what you got what you voted for. Someone just said that to me in the video that I just posted about federal employees going without pay while Congress tries to figure out a budget. Someone said that to me. They have no idea how I voted. No idea how I voted. I did not say anywhere in that video how I voted. And in fact, because I am a federal employee, I don't say in videos that can be used against me which way I voted. I never say that. Nobody knows which way I voted because I don't want that documented here because of Hatch Act. This is a critical, I'm criticizing the government equally on both sides. I was making a video about how it's challenging right this second to be a federal employee whose paycheck is being held hostage by both sides of the aisle. We have to stop the victim blaming. Americans want a better America. The current system that we have has been hijacked, and we are all equally victims of the system. Not Republicans, not Democrats, but of the system as a whole, which has been purchased by outside countries or big business, big pharma. We are all victims. So let's stop victimizing each other and start directing that rage and fury towards fixing the very system that's been dividing us for decades. Stop getting on the internet and victim blaming.